Valentine's Day, my darlings. Happy Valentine's Day. You're welcome to our channel. I'm so grateful that you're spending your Valentine with me this week. Or some of you are watching it post-Valentine. Anyways, what did you do on Valentine's Day? Just me now. What did you do? What did you do for your spouse? And what did he or she do for you? I'm all ears. I'm listening. Hey. Wow. Continue enjoying. May your joy, may your love, may your laughter, may your good memories never end. Amen. Happy Valentine's Day again. So today we're continuing on our series, Latest Nigerian Mommy in Town. And we started with birth controls last week. This week we're continuing with the day my husband and I decided that we wanted to have a baby. After the first part was we decided we didn't want to have a baby. Now we're deciding that we want to have a baby. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we get right into the gist. The day we decided to get pregnant or have a baby wasn't funny enough. The conversation was always inside the conversation we were having with not having a baby. So obviously we had already said, oh, this is when we want to start. Wanted to start trying for maybe a year after. But considering or because of the birth control that I took, which the reversibility of it was not as fast as other birth controls, we decided to consider, why not let's see if we can stop this birth control thing on time, and let's see how long it wears off your body. So after about 2 months into the pregnancy was when we actively decided to start having this conversation. Now, the main gist, that is not the main gist of this particular series or this particular episode. The main gist was, what did we do to eventually get pregnant, and what did we do in our waiting period? Unlike what society and biology makes us think, as soon as you get into marriage, you should be able to get pregnant. It's not actually as easy as that for some of us. I confess, I had a relatively easy process, but I know people, I've seen people, I even have friends, who did not have it as easy. Does that make them less of a couple, less of a people, less of a parent to be? No, it doesn't. And society needs to stop, shaming couples, shaming parents to be for not getting pregnant at the time that they expect them to get pregnant, or having babies in the methods that they expect people to have babies. We'll get to that eventually. I remember even after I'd given birth, after I delivered, some of my aunts, even family members, still called in to say, what, did you deliver naturally? Almost as soon as I delivered, and I'm like, what kind of weird question is that? What kind of silly question is that? So there are all sorts of expectations that the society will place on you. And as I said last week, my dear, your life is in your hands, okay? You should not succumb to pressure in whatsoever way. Do things for yourself and as you have planned. As I told you last week, I keep referring to last week, we had a period of waiting, of planned waiting. And one thing the Bible says is, if you're going to build a house, you have to count the costs. I think it's in Luke 11 or in Luke 14:28, one of those places. You have to count the cost of the building that you're going to make. You're going to count what it requires to buy the land, to fence the land. Then you move to clearing the land, then to doing foundation, then you move to actually, you're also going to employ architectural services, people like me who design what you're going to have, to plan your spaces before you now start executing the planning, that you have made in drawings. It's going to require a lot before you get to finishing. Even when you finish, you're going to actually furnish what you have finished. So there's a lot of things that go into, having a baby. You have to be financially ready. You have to be emotionally ready. You have to be spiritually ready. You have to be physically ready, especially the woman. I didn't know that pregnancy could shake me to the core the way it did. My health, you're much more vulnerable when you are pregnant than when you are not pregnant. And having that kind of vulnerability in these times, pandemic or whatnot, you have to be ready. Your pelvic core, your VJJ area is going to go through trying times. We're going to talk about that later in this series. You have to be ready. You have to be ready socially. You won't have time for events, gatherings, even doing YouTube videos like this. You won't have time for that like before. You won't have time for your friends like before. You won't have time for society like you used to. You won't have time to waste. Okay? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to give that up? It's going to task you mentally. You're going to not be thinking about yourself alone anymore. You're going to have to be thinking about somebody else very actively. Someone that is not able to help themselves or to help herself or himself, depending on whether you're having a single child or multiples. So are you ready for the different scenarios as I just presented to you? I have a friend who is having triplets. Unexpected. Are you ready for that? And most importantly, are you ready for the excruciating pain of waiting if you have to wait? Are you ready? So, my waiting period wasn't so much, but within that little time, I felt all the emotions that one could feel in waiting. Maybe not even as much, but I felt some of it. As I said, the anti-baby or baby stopping injectable that I took, Xena Press, the effect will wear off from immediately to 3 months to 6 months. Some people even 1 year. Thankfully, ours took I took it in April, and by the end of November, when I went to see a doctor, it wore off. So early December or towards the end of November, my menses came back, my period came back, and the opportunity to have baby opened again. And by February, we took him. Even when the opportunity opened, even when you start seeing your menstruation, it's not ABC. It's not like the biology you learned secondary school says that sperm meets egg and it will happen. Sperm can meet egg, it will happen and it will dissolve. In fact, sperm may not even meet egg, and it is the period you're in the season. Sperm may not be strong enough. Egg, something may be wrong with egg. So there are different things that are not as straightforward as we think it is with, getting pregnant, even after you've decided to get pregnant or to have a baby. Now, remember at the beginning I said there are different methods to getting a baby, and I want to expatiate on that. There's the regular method, which we could call the natural method, where the penis of the man, goes into the vajayjay of the woman, releases sperm, and sperm meets egg, and baby is formed, etc. And we also have we have other methods which we call will I say artificial? They're not necessarily, but yes, let's just say artificial methods, the IUIs and the IVFs. Now the difference I don't really know the meaning of both now. Sorry, I should have checked. But I know that the difference between IUI and IVF is a method of, is outside the body. Is sperm and egg, brought out, and fertilization is done in a dish before it's taken back. But I think IVF is the sperm is taken, and then it's more intrusive. You insert several into different eggs within the woman's body. I think that is what it is. As I said, I should have even put disclaimer from the beginning of the video. First of all, this is a no judgment zone, and then I am not an expert in any of these things that I'm saying. My Ghana knowledge is from my own experience, or what I've seen and what I've heard from family, from friends, from YouTube, from other researches that I've done, from even going to the hospital myself. So I may be wrong. Please do your research. Please visit your professional. So yes, those are the two methods. And aside from that, another method of getting a baby is by adoption, and that is a beautiful method as well. So all these methods of getting babies are beautiful, and they are openings by God, and you shouldn't feel shamed for taking any of the paths into getting pregnant or into having a baby. Correction, okay? So moving on, nothing is wrong with you if you take any of these methods. The most important thing is that you've gotten to the end goal, which is parenting and parenthood, and you're doing for that child what that child deserves. We're not even going to start talking about, we're not going to talk yet about roles and responsibilities of parenting. It's later, we'll talk about that. But let's focus on what we have at hand here, okay, when we decided to get pregnant. So, as I said, my menses returned in November. Between November to February, when we got pregnant, I went to a clinic, and I was advised to first of all start taking folic acid, and then so I'm in clinic. I do this clinic thing sometimes, just like the last time before marriage, I went to a fertility clinic, to discuss Planned Parenthood, and then to effect a method to actively stop childbearing for a period of time. Also, when we're not seeing the menses come back, myself and my husband carried ourselves to the hospital, to say, please, we don't understand what is happening. And the person just says, oh, don't worry, it will return. When it returns, you should be ready. Start taking folic acid, eat right, stop these kinds of food. So that's what I'm going to tell you now. So basically, the advice was start taking 400 milligram or something like that, milligram of folic acid. I'll just advise you to buy the one I use, 7C's preconception pills. It has vitamin D and it has folic acid, the one that the amount that you're supposed to take inside. If I find a picture, I'll insert it inside for you. You can buy that if you want. I'm as open as I can be. It's what I did. Okay, no, you don't buy it. I'm not advising you to do anything. If you want to, it's of your volition. Before you come and hold my neck, I'm worried, don't do something, it didn't work out. So yeah, so I got that, the preconception pills. Then I started to exercise, and eat healthier. I stopped some foods and some drinks. Zobo, for instance, was stopped, because there's some hormonal distracting things in Zobo apparently. You can do your research on that. In lemongrass as well, and then in alcohol and in caffeine to an extent. So I stopped some of those drinks and foods. And when you get pregnant as well, you're going to have to stop them. You're going to stop them for a period of time, to be honest. Even all this, your regular Inpobi that has potash inside, your doctor may or may not advise you to stop them, because these foods are high electrons that can affect your pregnancy. But yeah, I had to stop some of those things early on because I was very, very serious with the time I wanted to get pregnant. I believed, and my husband believed, that we were ready for a child. This was the next phase and next step. The next thing that I did, which was something I had been doing as well very actively, was to pray. Commit this journey into the hands of God. Commit the child that was coming into the hands of God. In fact, for the whole 9 months, I was actively praying. I've never joined the Hallelujah Challenge before. In this period of pregnancy, I was steady every day. Hallelujah Challenge every day. I prayed because I just knew that it wasn't just a natural thing that was occurring with me. I was going through a spiritual process. Birthing is as serious in the physical as it is in the spiritual. So I took everything, every single thing about it that I could. I took it serious. I was doing my research. I was on YouTube watching Bridget Taylor. You guys should check her out. Watching there's this wonderful nurse. Hey, Nurse Zabe. You guys should check her out. I'll link their channels on this. And if this is being translated into a podcast, you guys can go back to YouTube and just check it out. They're different amazing channel, mom. They're different amazing places. And then once we got pregnant in February, I took everything, I stepped a notch. I installed an app on my phone. I think I should continue this next week after what happens after you get pregnant, don't you think so? So yeah. So I hope you've learned something from this. I know I kind of stopped these episodes rather abruptly, but they're all in phases, and I just hope that you're learning something from them. I hope you're taking something away from today. So after we decided to get pregnant, of which, as I said, pregnancy is not something anybody should decide for you, not family, not friends, not society. Do it in your own time when you feel you're mentally, emotionally, spiritually, economically, socially ready, for that, when your heart desires it and it is aligned with every other thing. You can never really be ready, but to an extent, that this is the next phase, this is what we want to do, and you agree with your partner. Don't do it without your partner. Don't lie to your partner. Don't do like I want for you. Don't do like, what's her name in Bridgerton, Duchess, that wanted to force her husband. Please don't do that, okay? Take your husband's permission. And for those of you that have not watched Bridgerton, I don't watch it too. Oh well, anyways, this is Valentine's Day. I think we should stop this video now so that you and your spouse, your friend, you can go and just have a nice time, eat, and enjoy the period and atmosphere of love. I hope this video was as loving as it could be. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying. And if you're listening, thank you for listening. I love you so much. Have a blessed Sunday. Bye.